This episode is brought to you by the shows of the You Run Podcast Network, all available at yourunpodcast.com. Whether it's true crime or film reviews, even TV series deep dives, the You Run Podcast Network has you covered. So go and check out yourunpodcast.com today. Marc, this week's joke is brought to you by my 8-year-old son. I had a joke lined up and he just hit me with this. I was like, yeah, you've got it. You have inherited my ability for excellent joke telling.
To be honest with you, I have high expectations on this. He's probably going to be better than you.
I think he is. Why did the Winnie the Pooh call the police?
Why did Winnie the Pooh call the police?
Because he saw Christopher Robin.
Oh, Christmas cracker jokes. I love it.
Honestly, it broke me. I was trying to find a really appropriate joke, and he was lingering around. He was still on summer holidays when I was prepping for this episode. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm trying to think of a joke for Winnie the Pooh. He's like, "I know a Winnie the Pooh joke," and he was like the most excited kid in the world. He's like, "Are you going to use it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll use that for you."
Oh, bless his little heart.
Yeah. So if you like Jack's joke, let us know, because he is one day going to inherit this podcast and host it with Marc's daughter.
Oh yeah, I forgot we said that.
Anyway, let's get cracking.
You want to die tonight?
The dad jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled.
Hello and welcome back to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. My name is Scott.
My name is Marc.
We are your hosts each and every week as we take you through movies selected by you from our Instagram polls. Leave us a review. It's really important. I keep saying it and I need you to do it. You also need to go and follow us on Instagram. We're at You Run Podcast, or at Reviews from the Crypt, or at VHS from the Crypt if you'd like to give Marc a follow. You can get in touch with the show by sending us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or leaving us a voicemail on Instagram or X just by holding down the microphone button when you send a DM. And we have many messages this week. Like I said a minute ago, reviews are super important, which is why we're running a competition. So from now until Christmas, if you leave us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts, DM us a screenshot of that, you'll be entered into the draw. If you leave a 5-star review on Spotify and DM us an image that you've done it, you'll also be added into the draw. If you've already left us a review, leave us a comment on Spotify. You can do that now on every single video we release. It's got a comment section. Leave us a comment there. Every comment you leave on every video between now and Christmas will be an entry into that draw, and you get to win 3 pieces of merchandise, anything from the You Run Podcast shop. And there is a lot in the You Run Podcast shop. Loads. You can even get the most coveted t-shirt that Marc still doesn't have, the Colonel Cockring t-shirt.
I still don't have that.
I'm
not paying for it, man. I'm not buying stuff off myself. So just send me a shirt.
You will get one at some point. I just like the fact that it's gone on so long now. It's almost like a running gag that you're never going to own it.
I will have it.
We record in advance, so a lot of these comments and things I didn't think would be filtering through as quick as they are, but they are. So we had a comment on our Alien Romulus episode from Gareth at Video Tasties. I've always liked Gareth. Me and Gareth have always seen eye to eye, and his verbal abuse of Marc has always made me happy. And in this comment, he didn't disappoint.
Brilliant.
Scott is 100% correct. The first half was great. Then I was groaning at callbacks and copies of shots and speech. It did not need any connection to Prometheus.
But why? The Prometheus movie is within the franchise and in the world, so to exclude it altogether would be incorrect, especially considering the events of Prometheus and Alien Covenant take place before the events of Alien. So technically, it would be wrong not to include it, would it not?
I agree with Gareth.
Of
Prometheus
course
should
you
have been
fucking
left
do.
out.
You just agree with anything that isn't what I'm saying. You do it all the time.
Gareth has also been entered into the draw, so he is one of the first entrants in. That's his first entry. We have some voicemails. In fact, we have 3 voicemails, and yeah, all of these come from the same episode, and it's an episode I knew would generate many voicemails, so let's have a listen.
Scott, I cannot tell you how fucking hard it is for me to listen to this Human Centipede podcast. You are lucky that I love you and Mark, because I don't know if you guys know this, but this is one of my most fucking hated movies ever. I get teased about it all the time from my husband, my friend Angela. People like to force me to watch it, and I will not do it. I'm listening to your show. I'm throwing up in my mouth. I'm 30 minutes in. I don't know if I can finish it, but I'll finish it because I love y'all.
I knew that episode was going to cause a bit of a stir because of the content of it alone. But if you break it down, it's an alright movie.
Yeah, we both kind of said that. Well, let's see what else we got.
Hi guys, just listened to the Human Centipede episode. Great episode as usual. I am just so glad that somebody's finally seen it as a good horror movie. I really thought nobody would ever see what I saw with it. I just bash it because it is quite gross. Great show. See you next time.
Yeah, he's right, isn't he, in a way? Because it almost feels dirty to say that The Human Centipede's a good movie. Like, you feel wrong for trying to justify that movie to people.
Yeah, you do. The thing is, I have the experience of both Dave B movies and Lady Crisis. Like, it makes me physically gag. I gagged on the episode just talking about it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, just like Dave, I'm sat there going, it's pretty good. To be fair, there's not many horror movies that make me gag and make me recoil in horror from what I'm watching. So yeah, I see
exactly
both sides of it. We have one more, which is I'm just going to play it.
When you're driving in a Chevy and you're feeling kind of heavy, diarrhea. Listen, fuckers, I have never, ever had any desire to watch Human Centipede. It's just not a movie that's interested me. And you fuckers have to go and make me think about watching it. I'm contemplating going inside, starting my days off, and watching that fucking movie. I hate you. Just kidding. But why?
Why can all I think about now is chocolate milkshake?
I don't know. Don't make me gag again. And that is Eric, your arch nemesis. So I take that as a win for you, that you broke him so badly that he now has to go and watch The Human Centipede.
Good. He made me watch Arachnophobia. I hope he has to watch that movie on loop for the rest of his life. And the sequels.
And the sequel. We need to cover the sequels just to make him watch them.
The thing is about that, the sequels are like so much worse, especially part 2. Like part 3 is more like a spoof, scary movie comedy of itself. It's ridiculous in so many ways. But part 2 is rough, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you watch the black and white version as well, actually, because there is 2 versions of it, isn't there? There's a coloured version and a black and white. For some reason, the black and white version just feels so much dirtier.
If they do a new scary movie, they need to spoof Human Centipede in it.
It's been announced. Apparently, the Wayans brothers are coming back for it as well.
Oh, really?
And I don't know whether Thingy's ex, Anna.
Yeah,
I think she's back as well.
Do you know, as much as I dislike those movies, they're a one and done for me. I watch them, I laugh at how much they've hurt my feelings of all the horror movies I love, and then I never watch them again. So I think a modern one, when you're throwing things like Hereditary, like how much fun could they have with things like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey? Like they could just go wild with their stuff now.
I mean, the thing is with Scary Movie, it's like anything else. It just got bleached. It just got saturated with the same way that the Saw franchise did, where it was one every single year. It should be one of those movies where everybody involved in the first one just revisits the franchise every 10 years and does like a decade roundup in a spoof movie. And it would be perfect. But when you're getting them churned out every year, it just becomes ridiculous. I think Scary Movie 1 and 2 are fantastic. And I really, really enjoy those movies a lot. But I don't think I think I watched the third one and was like, yeah, this is just ridiculous now. I think Charlie Sheen was in that one. It was just stupid. But if they're getting all the original cast back from the first movie and they can recreate that sort of lightning in a bottle thing, and I think enough time has passed and they have enough content to be able to do something original with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, original is a silly thing to say when you're making a spoof movie that's ripping off other content. But if they can take that content and do it in a creative way and make it relevant to the time period we're living in, I think the new Scary Movie could be great. But again, it's going to go one or two ways. It's going to be one of those again where it's as good as the first one and we're all talking about it for the next 5 years, or it's just going to go straight to streaming and no one's going to speak about it ever again.
Yeah, I agree. If you've never listened to this show before, we give you a synopsis of the movie. We go through the movie in no particular order. We tell you what we liked, what we didn't like. We'll highlight specific scenes, and we just kind of have fun with it. We've got interactive features. We've got caption this week. We do a fact section. And then, as I say, every week, we let you get on with your day. We don't keep you here all day. We let you have your life outside of this podcast, which we never used to, with some of our episodes running at 3 hours.
Which was our 3-hour episode? It was Hereditary, was it not?
Hereditary was close. Evil Dead Rise was 3 hours, 26 minutes.
Holy shit. That was a long night.
It was. And if you go back and listen to that episode, at the start of the episode, me and Marc are on point and we're really like boom, 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 boom. And as we get closer to the end, we just went into rambling about how amazing Ellie was as the mum and how hot she was. And even as a Deadite, I still would. And it devolved into absolute chaos.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about your obsession with that.
Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Today, we return to the 100 Acre Woods and the town of Ashdown in Kent to catch up with a twisted version of Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, and meet some new characters in Owl and Tigger. In a movie that completely retcons the events of the first movie in the most ham-fisted way, Pooh and his mates are now on the offensive to go and kill all the locals as the locals started to hunt them and look for them. Poor plot, poor dialogue, great kills, some gory effects. That's kind of what's in store. To be quite honest, I am here for everything Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 has to offer. I'm fully on board now. I am 100% knee deep in the Pooniverse, and I'm happy.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be on this train with you, but here we are. If you'd have asked me a couple of days ago before I watched this movie, I would have been like, this is just the most stupidest thing ever. The Pooniverse assemble. It's ridiculous. But now I've watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I'm kind of there. Give me a t-shirt.
Yeah, I was shocked at the difference in quality from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, we made it in our back garden for £8.50, to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, where there's like the mask effects and like the practical work in this is like some of the kills, like it's up there with Terrifier levels of violence and gore, which caught me fucking so off guard.
The shotgun to the face is one of the best in the movie, and I think the effects work in it are fucking phenomenal. When you see him laid down in the woods and half his face has been missing, it's just brilliant. And I mean, let's just start with my trepidations of going into this movie. When the trailer was first released and we got all the character changes and everybody looked wildly different to what they did in the first movie, one of the main things I was always saying on the lead up to this movie was like, if it doesn't justify the changes, the character changes in terms of costume design, because they look vastly different to what they did in the first movie,
Yeah.
I'm going to really struggle to get on board with it. That's one thing that's going to annoy me, is if they're not the same. I can't take one and then into part two as a continuation seriously. And that's one thing that always bothers me with franchises. And I say that as a Halloween fan, and I know how much variation I have in that.
That's so bizarre for a Halloween fan to like complain about continuity of Mask. Like,
I know, and maybe that's where my rage comes from with it, because it's destroyed one of the greatest things of my life.
What they need to do now is in the next one, they need to make Winnie the Pooh, like, give him different hair color, like they did in Halloween 4, where they made Myers blonde. Like, do that
just for one scene in the entire movie,
just for one shot, and then
just don't even mention it. Yeah. So for me, let's talk about how this movie is so vastly different to the first, and its justifications on doing so, because that's for me one of the biggest selling points of this, is how they approach that situation. How did you find it?
I spent the first 20 minutes going, why do they look different? Why do they look different? This is pissing me off. Why do they look different? Why can they talk? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And then they retcon the entire thing by showing that you've got Christopher Robin, who's also recast, which was bugging the shit out of me. He's in therapy, and he's going through sessions to like deal with the trauma from the 100 Acre Massacre. And then you find out what we saw in the first movie is effectively a true crime inspired movie of the 100 Acre Massacre. And I was like, that explains why they look so shit. They're just people in masks. I buy it. I'm in. I'm sold. Fine.
Yeah. To put it in the most basic way possible for horror fans, what we watched was Stab in the Scream universe with the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It's essentially what they were trying to tell us. It's like, yes, the events of that movie that we watched are factually correct, and they happen to the characters that you're watching now, but the way that we watched it was through the lens of the movie based on that story. And I was like, that is fucking awesome. And it's only on screen for, I think they justify it when they're in the hospital where Christopher Robin's working. It's on the telly in the background, and the camera flashes to it for like 3 seconds. And you see the trailer for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And it's got the same mask and everything from the first one. It's like one of the scenes. You're like, all right, okay, yeah, I buy it. I'm in. I'm done. That's it. That's all you needed to do.
The thing is, how badly did they treat Christopher Robin? So he plays a nurse in this, and he seems to be very good at his job. And they let him go because the movie's been released, and they don't like the bad press around him. I was like, oh fuck, man, that's out of order.
Yeah, because he's in the sort of situation where everyone doesn't believe that these characters are real and actually committed the crimes, and they think that he's responsible for the deaths of all these young teenage girls from the first movie. People are spray painting murder on his car, and it sort of haunted him for most of his life. And then we find out that the story gets a lot deeper in this movie, even though we didn't get any of this backstory in Winnie the Pooh 1. It basically explains to us that his brother was kidnapped when he was younger, and he's dealing with that.
If you've seen Five Nights at Freddy's, you know the plot of this movie. And all I'm going to say to the producers and the director of this movie is they went in with one thing in mind.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
That's so mad that you say that, because I watched this movie all the way through and I didn't even consider that until now. But now you say it is the same movie.
It is exactly the fucking same.
Except with animatronics, you've got Winnie the Pooh characters.
Yeah, and not only that, they copy like so many kills in here. There's a kill where Winnie the Pooh's like fucking up one of the girls, and she tries to get away, and you see him snap the arm, and he takes the arm off and he hits her with it, and I'm like, you're Art the Clown. You've just become Art the Clown in exactly the same brutal manner that he done it. Like everything in this is. It's all stolen from other movies. They like sat down and had a horror movie marathon. Went, oh, that's good. We'll have that bit. That's good. We'll have that bit. That's good. We'll have that bit. And we're going to use all of that with these stolen characters from AA Mill. That's what we're going to do. Perfect.
Do you know what? But I'm not even mad about it. I'm not mad about it in the slightest. And do you know why? Because for one, this is only all this has done is made me realize that Five Nights at Freddy's could have been fucking epic, and it wasn't because it was a PG-13 movie. Had it gone down the same route as this and been as graphic and as violent, it would have been a brilliant movie. Another thing, all these kills that we get throughout here, all these sort of homages we see to certain horror movies, I was just sat there enjoying every moment of it. I was like, oh, that's like the kill from this. Oh, that's like the kill from that. Oh, this seems playing out exactly the same way that it did in Halloween 2018. This is really cool. These guys obviously love horror movies. And I don't know whether this is the same writer-director from the first one, or if they brought someone new in.
Reese Water something Wakefield is the producer of this.
And it just makes me kind of go back to some of the stuff I said about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 1. And I was always there, sort of middle of the road, championing it when everyone, I mean, you was as well, we were both out on a limb, but we seem to be the only people saying, actually, do you know what, this movie's all right? Yeah, it's not great, but there's something here. There is something here, given a bit more better budget and some more financing behind it to be able to create something. And I remember that episode as clear as day, and that was the one thing that we came away from was like, it's getting a lot of hate. People are shitting all over it. I know it's doing well at the box office, so it's going to get a sequel. Let's see where it goes with some better financing. And then the trailer came out, and I was like, yeah, everything's different. I don't like it. What the fuck's going on?
The thing is that they done well with a bigger budget, and I think they made it work, like by changing the story and making everything in the first one, retconning all of that, worked for me. Like, I love the fact that you've got Pooh and Owl and Piglet living in the forest, and because of everything that's happened, people are now looking for them, and they don't like that. And Owl, let's talk about Owl.
Well, before you do, you're saying that people are looking for them. That just brought me to one thing that I really, really loved about this movie. And if I don't say it now, forget. The opening sequence, again, that we get similar to the first movie, where you've got like the sketch work, comic book stuff, so cool. But then they take that one step further throughout this movie and they implement a narrator, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
I really love that you have the narrator over the top, like addressing certain situations and talking about Christopher Robin as it's playing out on screen. I was like, oh, that's so cool, because a lot of the Winnie the Pooh books from when I was younger, you'd have the characters come out and go on to the words. I don't know if you've got kids, so you definitely will have done the latest Winnie the Pooh animated movie where he's like jumping down and the words are all across the screen and stuff like that. It's fucking brilliant. It's a really clever movie. And I love that they sort of suggested towards that by implementing a narrator to this film. It was a really clever little trick that not many people would have picked up on, but I thought it was fantastic. But yeah, let's talk about Owl, the shittest character in the world.
Yeah, but before we do, like, it reminded me of the narrator in this reminded me of Patrick Stewart narrating the opening of Ted.
Oh, it's been so long since I've seen Ted. Is it Patrick Stewart that does that?
It is Patrick Stewart who narrates Ted and Ted 2. And it kind of it's got that vibe to it. It's that very, very quintessential British. And then Pooh went and done this, and it's cool. It is cool, but Owl is a massive tool. I hate Owl.
Yeah, I hate Owl, but I think he's great in the movie. But he's a nasty, nasty piece of shit.
Yeah, like, but Pooh's kind of like there's a bit where Owl's like, they're coming into the forest. We need to go and kill them all. Let's take the attack to them. And Pooh's sat there like, Pooh's just sat there like, having some honey.
Sugar, do, 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 do. Oh, honey, honey, do, do, do.
It's like, no. He basically like, no, we're fine. And this is where you see like, there's a walled up area with a big steel door in it, and you see it banging. I'm like, ooh, Tigger must be in there. And it's not until Piglet stumbles across some hunters and Piglet gets his head clean blown off that Pooh's like, yeah, do you know what? Let's go fuck them all up. Yeah. And one scene that I think was underplayed, but I really enjoyed it, was the hunters looking for Owl and everyone else, and they're out there, and one of them is the brother of one of the girls in the first movie. He's like, well, we're going to find them. They're like, it's getting dark. He's like, well, yeah, that's when they come out. Like, I love that scene, and I love like Owl flying over them, and they're completely unawares, and they absolutely get decimated. Decimated.
Brutally, yeah.
And they leave one alive.
Well, they don't. They don't intentionally leave him alive. They do that Michael Myers Halloween Kills kill with the kicks a car door and the gun goes off. Winnie the Pooh like knocks his arm and he shotgun blasts his mate in the face and he thinks he's dead. And then he just like wakes up with half his face hanging off. The best practical effect in the entire movie as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I am with the owl character because I don't really understand his purpose within it. Like, I know he's supposed to be like this whole wise and all wisdomy, but like they represent Winnie the Pooh as being the leader by showing him sat on the throne and he's like the higher one. Is he like, would you class Owl as being like the worm tongue from, do you watch Lord of the Rings? Do you know what I mean when I say worm tongue, or am I just talking nonsense?
Of course I know who Lord of the Rings, what Lord of the Rings and who Wormtail is. Like, I'm the same age as you. I'm older than you.
Wormtail, worm tongue, like the Brad Dourif character is like in his ear whispering.
Yeah, I am aware. No, don't send anyone to Gondor. Him.
Yeah, that's it. I'm impressed you knew that. You give me so much shit about it. I just assumed you was an outright hater of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, so he seems to me like he's that kind of character in this role. Is am I right in thinking so?
Yeah, that's kind of how I see him in this, and I just don't like he plays a great villain, but I don't think he pairs very well with Winnie the Pooh. Like, they built this up that he's very much that worm tongue in the ear, and what I wanted was there to be a moment where Winnie the Pooh's like, "Joe, what? Fuck off out," and just takes his head off, and I didn't get it. And I
think we might though.
I think we might, especially. Let's talk about what on earth were they doing with the scientists? Like, yes, it was experiments, and we kidnapped children just like Five Nights at Freddy's, and then we turned them into these mythical characters. And yeah, one of them's your brother. I was like, oh.
So yeah, that's the point. Is Winnie's Billy, isn't he?
Yeah, Winnie's Billy, his brother. Which made no sense to me when Winnie the Pooh went to his childhood home and massacred his parents, killing his mum in the most brutal fashion by smashing her face down into a washing machine with knives sticking up out of the drawer holder.
At the beginning, when she unloaded the dishwasher, she's like, "How many times do I have to tell you to stop putting knives up?" I was like, "Yeah, someone's getting their face smashed into that later." And then it happened, and I was like, "Thanks for the payoff. That was cool."
Yeah, again, though, I've seen that in another movie I've watched recently, a clown movie, which does much better.
I think I can't remember the movie, but I know the same. It's the same kill. We've seen all the kills in this. We've seen already.
But yeah, like him killing his parents, I didn't understand why. Like, his parents didn't do anything wrong. He's aware of who he is. Like, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, but I mean, he's after Christopher Robin as well, though. Like, so for me, it's more. The way I perceived it anyway was it's more it's a bitterness, like, you left me there, you didn't come and find me, you didn't come and save me, the whole twisted, tormented soul kind of thing. That's the way I projected it anyway. For what other reason would he be out to hunt his brother and kill him and then take vengeance on his family? Would be over the fact that he spent the last 30 years or however old he is, 20 years trapped, tormented, scienced upon. That was the most incorrect thing I've ever said in my life.
but we get childhood Pooh as well. Like childhood.
Yeah, I like childhood Pooh.
Childhood Pooh, I think, is scarier than Pooh. And I like when the narrator's talking through, like, Christopher Robin saw everything through innocent eyes, and he thinks he's playing with Pooh, and then it cuts to Pooh, and Pooh's like gutted a rabbit and is eating the rabbit. I'm like, oh yeah. You
see, the thing is as well, childhood. I think we're missing a lot by not rewatching the first one. I couldn't personally bring myself to rewatch the first one going into the sequel, but wasn't the whole story of the first one Christopher Robin spending all his time with these creatures when they were children and then abandoning them? So that's where the bitter rage comes from, I think. If I'd have watched Winnie the Pooh 1 and then went into the second one, I would have probably had more context on this story. But I think that's the vibe.
Well, I did. I did watch them back.
Unlucky.
Back, so I wanted to get a direct comparison. I think, which is why I was even more annoyed when I had like the opening scenes. I'm like, this is all wrong. This is why is he not in a big like rubber yellow mask? Why can he move his mouth? Why can he do this? But yeah, like in the original, Christopher Robin plays with them as kids, and then he fucks off to university and leaves them, and
Yeah.
they basically starve. And when they're starving, they eat Eeyore, which are now
Oh
is
yes, they
also
do.
which now is also retcon. They can bring Eeyore back when his public domain ends, which will be next year.
I saw something about Eeyore coming back, and they're saying that he's going to come back and team up with Christopher Robin to get vengeance on them for killing him. So he's going to be part of the good guys, which is fucking awesome.
Eeyore is my favorite character. I've said it every time we've spoken about this. Like having a character that's effectively a manic depressive and putting him in a situation where he needs to be full of energy and life to kill something is just instantly funny to me. Like it'd be
The
like
thing that blows my mind
"Oh."
about the Eeyore character coming into this universe is how he's going to look. Like I get the bear in human form as Winnie the Pooh. I get Owl in human form as an owl still. But how do you translate a donkey to fit within this universe and look believable? Like if
I'm
you just
thinking-
imagine a human and you took Donkey from Shrek and put that on a human body, like it's laughable.
Yeah, do you remember the TV show Brave Star when we were kids?
When you were a kid?
Well, when I was a kid, for
And I
older
hadn't been
listeners-
born for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, there was a TV show called Brave Star where you had a cowboy who lived in space and he had all different powers. He had like ears of the wolf, speed of the puma, strength of the bear. But he had a robotic horse that was just a normal horse until he used his powers. And then it stood up on its hind legs and had a massive shotgun. That's how I'm picturing
Wow.
Eeyore.
Okay.
Google Brave Star. Honestly, the Brave Star movie is one of the best movies ever made, and the fact it's not a sci-fi action horror movie upsets me greatly.
Okay, I'll look into that. That sounds incredible.
It was so cool, and you had like a baddie who looked. He was a bit like Skeletor, but in space, and he had a cowboy hat and a red face and like bones sticking out. It was cool. That series.
It does sound very He-Man-esque now you say it.
It was He-Man set in the 1940s Wild West on a planet in space with aliens.
Is that when you watched it in the 1940s or?
Do you know what?
We're owl exterminators.
I'm sorry, I'll stop. I promise I'll stop now. I'll stop with the old man thing.
I just
Right,
take.
come on, Logan.
That's the dynamic we've got. I'm Logan. I've still got a full head of hair and a full beard. And you're Deadpool. You look like a Deadpool.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They let Tigger out, and this is where the movie really amps up. They let Tigger out, and Tigger and Pooh go to a rave that's being held by Christopher Robin's girlfriend's friends. Like this segment in this like abandoned warehouse underground rave is the crowning jewel of this movie, as Tigger is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, 100% Freddy Krueger. And do you know what I really liked about this? I was like, yeah, it doesn't need to be Robert Englund to play Freddy Krueger anymore. That was my one takeaway from this scene. I was like, yeah, do you know what? Somebody else could play Freddy Krueger if done right.
I did have to pause it because this movie, I paused it because I was laughing so much and I didn't want to miss anything. 1990s Adele gets hunted down by Tigger. Like, I know that's horrible to say, but there is a larger girl in this who looks very similar to Adele from the 90s. And Tigger's taken out, I don't know, 20 people at this point. And she's there all on her own. And she does this bit where she kind of goes, and she runs. and she trips because she's trying to look behind her, and she falls over on like this grated staircase. And Tigger, in the most slick kind of, almost like Michael Jackson style, kind of like slides underneath it, and then just like fires his claws up through the grill and then showers in her blood. I was like, this is so cool.
Very, very cool. And do you know what the weirdest thing about this entire scene was? This is a very large lady. And the only thing that was running through my mind was, I wonder, due to the size of a person, how much damage they could take from a stab wound. Do you know? Because, like, say if you've got like a 4-inch knife blade, but you're an extremely big man, when you're getting repeatedly stabbed, you're only piercing fat the same way they do with a pig. Do you know when they? Not that I agree with it, but the way they stab pigs to check the level of fat. Like, if you got stabbed loads of times, I have no idea where this conversation is going, and I immediately regret starting it. But I'm going to continue on anyway.
No. I will save you. What we'll do is we'll just hit a soundbite and we'll move forward.
I just wondered whether you could take more damage due to the fact that you're not piercing anything vital. If comparison to like somebody like me and you got stabbed with a 4-inch blade, it would immediately pierce like a lung or a heart or a liver or a kidney.
Yeah, I reckon I could probably withstand more than you, being probably slightly doughier than you around the middle.
Anyway, that was my takeaway from that scene.
The fact that Tigger even uses "you bitch" lines like Freddy Krueger cracked me up, where you've got the girl who's all in like the neon rave gear and she's crawling away. He's fucked up her leg and she's going, no. And he goes, come back here, you neon bitch. Oh man.
It was so cool. It really, really was. And I like the fact that he could talk and Piglet could talk and Owl could talk. I don't know why Winnie doesn't. He may do in later movies, but
I think they're just taking like the inspiration of what Disney done with Pooh. Obviously, they're not copying it directly, but Winnie the Pooh is thick as 2 short planks.
He is very much.
And I think they've just taken that to the next step of he's so stupid he can't even talk.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, it was more like I kind of saw them as being representing certain icons within the horror franchise. So, like, Winnie the Pooh was supposed to be the whole Michael Myers-esque silent killer type, and then you've got Tigger, who is the Freddy Krueger-esque type. And I sort of kind of pictured Owl as being the Candyman kind of type. Then again, he's a little bit too vocal to be a Candyman. I don't know. He has his moments. I don't know, but I kind of feel like they're taking inspiration from certain horror icons in order to represent each individual figure, and that was why I kind of went with the direction I did with it.
Yeah, this movie only started to fall apart for me in the last 15 minutes, and it's the way this movie concluded pissed me off because it didn't conclude. It almost felt like it needed another half an hour to finish the story, but I know they've left that so they can make another 2.5 hour movie further down the line, or another 2 1.5 hour movies.
In what way was you not happy with the conclusion? Because I felt like the entire journey was very well rounded. I didn't feel disappointed by any aspect of it, which is a very strange statement to make on a Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie. But for me, it felt very contained and well wrapped up. Like, there's no way that this is. Yeah, I mean, if I didn't know I was getting a sequel or a continuation within this universe, then I'd be like, what's going on here? But I mean, in terms of the fact that it's already established, we're getting like 15 movies. I kind of was like, yeah, that's a good place to stop for this one.
I think what my problem was is they're like, it's basically Owl saying, don't worry. Like, Pooh's lost half his head, Piglet's lost all of his head, and Owl's like, don't worry, they'll be back soon. And you see Piglet's head growing, and like you see Pooh's, like his head starts coming back together. I'm like, you didn't need to do that. Like, leave them dead. Leave them dead.
Yeah, but they'd already said, the scientist, the guy, when he went to find his brother, already explained that they had regenerative powers, which would also explain why Piglet's back from the first one with the scar down his face, because Piglet got fucked up in that first movie.
Yeah, but that's fine. But I don't need it like spelt out in like idiot form for me at the end. Like leave them, like leave the assumption that they're dead, and then do that little bit of explanation at the start of the next movie. Like I don't need it
Yeah,
in this movie.
yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. For me, it just kind of filled in a lot of issues I had in terms of why was Piglet back, do you know? And I don't know. I didn't have an issue with that in particular, and I think that more just comes down to the fact that I know that there's going to be more, and they
Yeah,
know there's going to be more, so they don't need to hide that aspect of the story, I suppose.
yeah. I think for me the downsides of this is Christopher Robin. I don't think he's particularly good. Christopher Robin's girlfriend is atrocious. Like,
Yeah, she's really, really bad.
oh no, there's someone downstairs, little kid. Let's go and hide. And then they hide in that weird tent thing that is a
Yeah, that was
complete
a whole
rip-off.
Halloween 2018 scene rip off. Like the whole thing was a
Yeah,
2018 Halloween.
well, the hiding in the tent thing I thought was more the Conjuring 2, where the little boy hides in the tent and then the crooked man stands up in the tent. Like that's what I got from that.
Yeah,
But
I
like,
just mean the whole setup with the babysitter and the Michael Myers thing. I expected her to be killed and put under a sheet like a ghost. You know, that was where I was like thinking it was going.
yeah, but like her acting is atrocious. When she's trying to get to Christopher, she's like, he's not picking up. Like, there's no emotion, there's no anger. She's just, it's almost like someone's held up a card and she's gone, there is no way I can get to him. And then you almost see her pause. And I think they cut the bit where she went, line. Like, she was horrifically bad. And
She was, but I think Christopher Robin, I know you're bashing on him, but he's a vast improvement from the first film. One of my biggest gripes was how dreadful he was in that first movie. This guy's
yeah,
so much better. He's not great, but I think considering the budget of the movie as a whole, the general casting is a vast improvement on the first. And I don't think anybody was waveringly bad apart from his girlfriend. Even the guys in the forest who were like bit part players, I thought they was all pretty impressive as well.
oh, what our friends,
We're owl exterminators.
Yeah, yeah. Tucker and Dale.
they really were. I like this movie wasn't bad. Like it's got high points, it's got low points. I think the kid actor was great. The kid actor in the
Yeah, he
house,
was really good.
he was really good. Um, I don't know. Have you got anything else you want to touch on before we take a break and go and do some caption this and facts?
Yes, I just want to briefly have a quick conversation about the CGI in this because it made me howl with belly laughs how bad it was. The biggest culprit of the lot is Tigger's tail in every scene that Tigger is in. I'm like, yeah, I would like just strap a fucking basil brush tail on him and let's just call it a day because what you're trying to achieve here is 10 times worse. And then there was one scene earlier on. Do you remember when they chucked the body parts in the river?
Yeah. Oh, when they
Go back and if you didn't pay much attention to it the first time around, go back and watch that scene again when they chuck the body parts in the river and just watch the effects as they float down. It is the most hilarious PS1 style graphics you will ever see in your life. And that's what annoyed me. Is like practical so much better. You've proved practical so much better. You're stood above a river. Just chuck a foam leg in and it will look a million times better than what you've just put on screen.
I was just about to say, why didn't like, they're stood at a river, just chuck a foam leg in? Like, I know you don't want it to go too far down river. Get someone off camera, 8 foot down the river, to stand there with a net and hook them out. It's not hard.
And they used the same leg. They had the leg. They showed us a prosthetic leg from the guy. And then we cut to the next scene and he chucks a CGI leg in the river. I'm like, why have you just done that? I don't get it.
To be fair, it is low budget and prosthetic legs are expensive. Maybe they
didn't want to get it wet.
Don't want to get it wet. Can't risk losing it down the river. Can't risk the bad press of this turning up in a town somewhere in Kent and some little old lady fishing it out the river.
Yeah, we need to save that for Bambi, the Reckoning. So let's just keep that dry for now.
Stupidly, I swear there's going to be so much crossover. Like we've got Winnie the Pooh, we've got Winnie the Pooh 2. From here on out, fucking all bets are off. What's going to happen? Like the closing credits for this, the drawn sketches where they
Yes.
introduce all of the other characters. So we see Bambi,
Really cool.
we see Pinocchio, we see Peter Pan, we see Tinkerbell, like all of that. I'm like, like now you've just kind of gone, strap in, because what we're about to give you is fucking wild.
And the thing about that as well is, as much as I'm now on board, which I didn't think I would be after this movie, when those credits started rolling and you saw all the introductions of the characters of the movies that were going to get Peter Pan, Pinocchio and stuff, I'm like, how do you justify their story arc fitting into this universe? Like, they've given a clear example of how Winnie the Pooh has come to be within this world. Five Nights at Freddy's, if you will.
Yeah.
How do you then take the character of Pinocchio and introduce that into a realistic setting that ties in within this universe?
That's why they're all getting standalone movies before we get the Pooniverse, Monsters Assemble.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this is going to, if they do this right, I think this could be something truly epic. This could be the modern take on the blockbuster B-movie shite that I adore, but in all its glory. And I'm on board for it now. I really am. But I'm at the end of this movie, and I'm dubious about where it's going.
The thing is, if they do it right and they keep an eye on what's becoming public domain, like this in theory could go on forever. So you've got Mickey Mouse's public domain now. Who's to say at the end of Monsters Assemble, you're not going to have Mickey Mouse show up and like fuck up Pooh? Like that could be your closing shot of the movie. And then you go into the Pooniverse Endgame and like bring in other characters that their public domain is ended. Maybe the public domain on The Little Mermaid is ending and we get an underwater horror movie. Like the options for them are endless. And I kind of like that.
Yeah, but like I said to you before we even started recording, my biggest concern and worry is trying to keep focus of what is relevant, because everything is becoming public domain and we are getting so much shit churned out that's based on property such as Disney and things like that. Like the Cinderella movie that's coming out, I'm like, is that part of this universe or is this separate? Like, how do I know what the timeline is with all the crap that's coming out around it?
Yeah, you could say the same about Marvel, though. Their timelines.
I do say that very regularly.
Right, let's take a break. When you finish this episode, why not head over to yourunpodcast.com and see what else we have available for you. With incredible shows like Movies for Days, hosted by Newman, this is your non-pretentious, easy access movie review show, covering all genres, be it horror, action, romantic comedy. Newman and Movies for Day has everything you could possibly need. And why not check out You Gonna Eat That Crust podcast, hosted by Seamus, Ryan and Greg. This incredible podcast covers everything, from games to movies to what they've done this week. This is three friends who've known each other from high school, just saying it as it is every single episode. Now these and many more incredible shows all available at yourunpodcast.com, so don't miss out. Go and check out our website today. Please go and check out the other members, yourunpodcast.com. You've got so much on there, from true crime to paranormal to movie reviews. Like there is so much there for everybody, regardless of what you like. If you like music, there's music podcast. Like we've got everything. Also there, not that I want you to give us your money, but we have our merch shop where we sell t-shirts with Heather's face that say bitch, and the ever elusive Colonel Cockring t-shirt that you could own before someone buy it, put it on, tag Mark.
No, don't encourage people to do that.
No, we want them to buy stuff from our shop. Do that. Just Eric, I'm calling you Eric.
That I swear, if he buys that t-shirt and posts him wearing it before I own it, I will be so pissed off.
So head to yourunpodcast.com either to check out one of the shows or to really upset Mark. Whatever you want to do. Let's do caption this. So caption this week. We gave you this image to caption.
Oh, I forgot about that scene. Oh my god.
Winnie the Pooh and his flaming chainsaw, which was fucking awesome.
Brilliant.
Again, homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what that was.
Yes.
We'll start on X. Leprechaun 81, who's Imitation Dave, the voice that you hear at the beginning of every single episode. He went really clever with this. He gave not only a caption this, but a quote from the movie. You can't stay in the corner of the forest waiting for people to come to you. You have to go to them sometimes.
Very clever.
Really good.
I like what he's done there.
Newman over at Movies for Days, a member of the You Run Podcast Network, excellent review show, went with this week on Duck Dynasty. Did you ever watch Duck Dynasty?
I know what it is, but I never watched it like religiously.
Duck Dynasty is basically how deep in the South can we go? What are the craziest hillbillies we can find who hunt and sell ducks? Like
Yeah, I've seen like clips on like Facebook and stuff of the like bits of the episodes, but I've never really watched it.
They're so good. Dewey Pod Monster, also member of the You Run Podcast Network, excellent show, and they've just released their new show on YouTube, which is STS Shoot the Shit, where they just talk about random stuff, which is also awesome. Went with Copyright Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, kind of gets it. Threads, Cat King Colors. Piglet thought the Heffalump hunt suddenly took a dark turn.
Heffalump hunt? What's a Heffalump? I can't even say that. Heffalump hunt.
Heffalump. Do you know what a Heffalump is? Oh man, you need to get more into the Winnie the Pooh world. A Heffalump. I
have the full collection of books in like a box set that I bought for Margot.
Heffalump's like it's like the purple elephant thing. That's a mythical creature that they all try to find that they don't think exists, but it actually exists.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. No, I'll dig into the research on that then. Do you have a book reference on which one I need to read? There is a lot of them in the collection I've got.
I can't believe we're having this conversation. No, I do not have a book reference.
Please message into the You Run podcast with you.
On Instagram, we've got Mondo Street SC, crap costume check, flaming chainsaw check, script shit. I knew I forgot something. They're a social club podcast, and that kind of gets this down to a T. Danny XX Halloween. It's time for a full cookout, a full, not full, full as in autumn cookout. I'll bring the meat, and they are
nice.
A cosplayer. And finally, Anastasia at Attack of the Killer. I can't even speak. Anastasia at Attack of the Killer Objects podcast went simply with silly old bear.
Oh, I was hoping somebody was going to do it. Attack of the Killer Objects podcast. How many episodes are they in now? Because I'm beginning to wonder. They must be running out of content soon.
They are a lot in, but every time I think like that must be everything about like killer objects now. It's like drawing pin 11, Attack of the Thumbtack. It's like, wow. Anastasia does a great job. And she also does Horror versus Reality, another show she does, which is like they take, it's really cool. Like they take horror movies that are inspired by true events and then tell you the difference between the two. She does a cracking job. Cool. Let's do some facts. So this is the first appearance of Tigger since he entered public domain on January 1st this year. He's not allowed to resemble the Disney Tigger in any way due to copyright, which is why he looks very similar to Pooh, just with stripes.
He's not allowed to be bouncing Tigger, is he?
No, which is...
But he does have a line in here where someone says, let's bounce, and he says, that's my line. Which is
again,
cool.
Clever use of that. How far can we push Disney before they sue us? Like, how much can we?
Yeah.
I picture the producer and the director of this as like a kid with a stick, like poking a really angry, aggressive dog, and just every time they poke it a little bit harder and hope it doesn't bite them. That's how I see them when they do stuff with like Disney must look at this and go, oh, that's so fucking annoying. Like if he'd have said bouncy instead of bounce, we could have sued them. but we can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like that little bit, isn't it? They're just almost on the verge of it.
The quote that Dave used, you can stay in the corner of the forest waiting for others to come to you, but you have to go to them sometimes. That was in the opening credits, and it's from the book The House of Pooh Corner, which was released in 1928. And this is the book that Tigger was introduced in.
So you have that reference, but you don't have the reference for the Heffalump book.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Christopher Robin's parents in this are Alan and Daphne. Those are the names of the real Christopher Robin parents that A.A. Milne had, so they used the same names for that. Now, Christopher Robin uses a search engine in this to look at what's happening in the world, and the search engine he uses is called Milne, like A.A. Milne, who wrote the book.
I did one. I saw that when he was doing it, and I'm sure that means something. I don't know how I didn't put the two together.
Despite using A.A. Milne's characters and referencing him numerous times in the movie, he is not credited in this movie at all, which is criminal.
I mean,
based on character,
obviously,
but surely based on characters created by A.A. Milne is like the bare fucking minimum you should do. After
can you do that though? Surely there must be some sort of legalization about it. There might be the same like you have. I'm in this whole warfare thing on Facebook at the moment. I'm a big Rings of Power fan, and it's all like everyone's bitching shit about it all the time. It's like, yeah, the Tolkien properties don't allow this. I'm assuming it's the same kind of thing here. Like his heirs of him must have been like, no, you can't. There must be something to sort of like prevent it happening.
Yeah. Maybe the people who now own the rights to that went, we do not want our great grandfather's name put on this movie. Please.
That's what I'm saying. Like they'll be like, yeah, you're an insult to our legacy of the characters and stuff like that. We don't want no association, even though you can literally take it and do what you want with it at this point.
Yeah, and the final fact I've got is one that we've already touched on. So this is now the start of the Pooniverse. It's the Twisted Childhood universe, which is Bambi the Reckoning, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Pinocchio Unstrung, which sets up a crossover film, which is Pooniverse Monsters Assembly. Not Monsters Assemble, Monsters Assembly. Please.
Right. Which one comes first? Because I've started seeing stuff on Facebook now and again about the Peter Pan thing. Oh, yeah, because we got the teaser trailer for Bambi, didn't we?
Yeah, it's Bambi, then it's Pinocchio, then it's Peter Pan, then it's Monsters Assembly. And if they don't meet in a school hall for the Monsters Assembly, I'll be really upset with Pooh sat at the top, like class assemblies you got at school. That's how I want it to play out. With Al there going, I have brought you all here to deal with the blight that is known as Christopher Robin, and we need to do this for the greater good.
See, that's the thing. Are we going to get team ups from all like the good people from this side of things? Are we going to get Christopher Robin teaming up with Geppetto and I don't know who's the good people in Peter Pan? What's the girl called?
Wendy and the Lost Boys.
Wendy and the Lost Boys teaming up with Geppetto and Christopher Robin to take down.
I would like to think that if they're making Peter Pan the villain, which in the book, in the original works, he kind of is because he's kidnapping children, taking them to Neverland, that would make Captain Hook the good guy. And oh man, a good guy Captain Hook, I'm all in for that.
I didn't even think of that. That's what I mean. There's so many endless possibilities of what they could do with this. And I'm just really hoping they get it right. I really am. Because if anything, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey has really got me on board. But I'm on board enough that I think it would only take one movie to derail me from it, I think.
Yeah, I want this to go down the route of Sharknado now. I want there to be like B, D, E, and F, Z celebrities that now want to be involved as cameos to get killed. So I want to see like 5 girls from the Geordie Shore get massacred by Winnie the Pooh. I want to see like, I don't know, like Dale Winton rock up in a supermarket. It's time for supermarket sweep. Like, I want that kind of goofiness
Yeah,
thrown
I'm just
into
going to
it
ask
now.
you about that. Is this British? I know obviously all
Yeah.
the casting and everything's British, but I
Yeah.
didn't know whether that was just because it was Winnie the Pooh and it's
no,
Mills and he's a British author. I didn't know if that was.
This is a British production company. This is all out us. This is like
Oh, wow.
this is
I don't know
this
if
is
I
the
want
best.
that as being our saving grace for our reputation, to be honest with you.
Well,
Horrors Yet
you-
Unseen are going to be sat there like, I told you about those fucking English. Listen to them. Championing Winnie the Pooh, blood and honey.
The thing is, this is the best thing we've put out since the Cornetto trilogy and 28 Days Later. Like, this is as good as it's getting at the moment.
Well, we've got 28 years later coming, so that might hopefully redeem us a little bit.
We do. Head to YouTube now, and you can see all the information we have on that in a YouTube video I done that is available if you go to our YouTube page, which is at You Run Podcast.
I'm beginning to wonder whether you are becoming an AI bot to promote other content within the New Room Podcast Network.
Well,
I keep saying keywords, and it's like also available on the New Room Podcast Network.
and don't forget to leave us a review and enter our competition.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
So yeah, make sure you subscribe. Make sure
you have to do to be entered to win is like, comment, subscribe, sell your soul to the devil, give me your left foot's big toe, favorite, send the video to 10 people, share it on Facebook, cut off your left arm, and if you do all that, you'll be entered to win.
Brilliant.
Sounds fair. Do you want to round this up first, or do you want me to dive in?
Even after this whole episode, I still don't really know where you are with it, so I'm going to go first before you shit on my dreams. I was really, really anxious about this movie for one or two reasons. Basically, the change that I saw within the trailer, and I don't know, I just didn't know what to expect from it. I had low expectations going in.
It's just dawned on me, and I do it every week. Anyone watching on YouTube has seen me change my beer and realizes now that I keep the empty cans on the floor one side and the full cans on the other side. And I literally, every time you start your roundup, I go like this. I turn into a weeble. I'm really sorry. It's dawned on me now, and I do it every single week.
I don't know if that was justifiable enough to interrupt my roundup. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm grateful for the insight, but I'm also now completely lost my train of thought. So fuck you, man, and your weeble actions.
Let's start again. You give us your roundup on Winnie the Pooh.
I don't even know where I was anymore. I've completely lost it all. I'm going to have to start again.
Start again. It's fine. It's fine.
I can't start again. I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, anxious about going in. It went in a direction that I was really, really impressed by for a lot of aspects. I thought the casting was a vast improvement. I know you moaned quite a lot on this episode about the plot, but I was really invested in the story. And I think that's maybe because I didn't put the Five Nights at Freddy's thing together. And I knew there was involvement with his brother, and I thought it's going to have some sort of tie-in, but I didn't quite expect it to go down the route it did go down. And then when we got the reveal of Winnie the Pooh actually being his brother and being a mutated version due to experimentation, I was like, oh, that's really, really clever. Turns out it's not that clever, because I watched a movie that did the exact same thing literally 6 months ago. But still, hey, I enjoyed it for the moment. So that was really cool. I thought the practical effects in this movie was phenomenal. Really, really good. And I just didn't quite expect it to be as good as it was. There were so many scenes throughout here, even from the opening kill sequences, that sort of sets the tone for the rest of the movie going forward. I put it on. I must have been 5-10 minutes into the opening section, and I text you, and I was like, shit, dude, like, is this actually the movie? Is this right? Is this as good as I'm thinking it is?
And I replied to you, just wait. And then I got a text about 40 minutes later. You're like, I hate you because I'm going to absolutely love this movie, all of it, aren't I? And I was like, yep. Yes, you are.
And you're right. And I do love this movie. I thought it was so good. And it caters to everything that I love about horror. It's B-movie. It's shit. The effects are cool. The kills are cool. And I don't really want anything more than that from horror. It's a place where I go to switch off from the rest of the world. And sometimes when I find movies that are so heavy on the lore and the investment required from me to be able to enjoy it and understand the story properly, it kind of takes away that kind of freedom that I like from horror, where I just switch off and enjoy it for what it is. But this movie was the most enjoyable 90 minutes I've had in a very long time of watching horror, I think, because it didn't require anything from me. I just went in, I switched my brain off, and I had a really, really good time. And I didn't expect to do that with this sequel. Yeah, it's not great, and there's going to be people out there that don't enjoy the same kind of things from horror that I do, and they're going to think this is absolute garbage. And they wouldn't be wrong in thinking that. They really wouldn't be wrong in thinking that, because this isn't your generic Hollywood Blumhouse horror movie. It's not that. It's not that. There's people who are going to love it and people who are going to hate it, and I am in the camp where I loved it. It's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a vast improvement in what we got in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 1. And I'm excited to see where this franchise goes. I'm excited to see where this universe goes. And I'm hoping the incorporation of all the sequels that are coming from other worlds, or even if they are other worlds, how they're going to tie them all together. If they do it right and they bring everything together in a digestible way that makes sense, and it makes sense with the story within the Winnie the Pooh story, I'll be happy. Yeah. If the movies that come, the Bambi, the Pinocchios, the Peter Pan, if it feels like bloat and it compromises the world that I've invested myself into within Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 1 and 2, it's going to annoy me, because I'm kind of in it now. I'm in it now, and I could quite happily take a Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 3, 4, 5, and still keep going with what they're presenting to me now. If they start getting on that cash grab and that cash cow thing and just bringing other things in and ruining it exactly like the same way Marvel has done, it depends how meta they want to go with this. They start giving us TV series and all the rest of it that requires 17 years to watch all of its content to understand one movie. Hey, go for it. But for me, if it compromises what's already established here, I'm going to be pissed off, because I really did enjoy this movie for what it was. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is a 4 out of 5. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, sorry.
Yeah. So when we done Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, we spent 90 minutes ripping it to fucking pieces. We then scored it a 3 out of 5 and a 4 out of 5. We then interviewed Natasha Rose Mills, who was in the original movie, and we kind of walked away from that. And I thought Winnie the Pooh was kind of done. I knew we were getting a sequel, and we joked about it, going, oh yeah, if we get it, we'll cover it. When I sat down to watch this, I hadn't really watched any of the trailers or anything, and I was like, this is going to be dog shit. I don't think I'm going to get the same enjoyment I did from the first, because that was kind of I got a novel enjoyment from that, because it was something different. And then when it started and I got all of the violence and the practical effects work that honestly rivals Terrifier for how graphic and how good it's put together. The bit where he takes he rips her arm off and beats her to death with it, I was disgusted and laughing all at the same time, which is really difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was blown away. Like, visually, it looks good. It's shot well. I had issues with the plot and the narrative, but that is because it is Five Nights at Freddy's just with Winnie the Pooh. But everything else around it, minus a couple of wonky performances, this is a really good slasher movie. And I didn't, like you, I did not expect to sit here and go, this is really good. You should all go and watch it. But if you like any level of B-movie horror and you watched Winnie the Pooh and walked away from that and went, that is trash, I don't ever want to see anything like that again, watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, because it's nothing like that. And it retcons all of that. And you kind of go, oh, well, that's why that one was shit. They've done such a good job of making me go, oh, I understand why that was so crap, because it's a movie within a movie. But it wasn't. But I bought into the fact that it was.
Yeah, I fully bought into it, invested in it.
I had loads of fun with this. I would take a third one, same as you, or a fourth or a fifth, bring back Eeyore, put him with Christopher Robin, get Christopher Robin fighting Pooh with Eeyore fighting Owl and Piglet. Like, I'm in for that. I want to see a big battle. I'm interested in Bambi the Reckoning purely because I think Bambi deserves vengeance that Bambi never got. Peter Pan, again, I can buy into that because the original book was very dark. The one I'm stuck on is Pinocchio, and I'm not sure how they're going to do that. And I'm going to call it now. Everyone hit record on your phones, wherever you're listening. In Pinocchio, they are going to give us a version of the puppet scene from A Nightmare on Elm Street, where Pinocchio puppets someone off a building. I'm calling it now. It's going to happen.
That would be very cool. But again, these sequels that are coming out, if they're all standalone movies and self-contained, like Bambi the Reckoning, if that's a self-contained movie and doesn't try and reference Winnie the Pooh for the sake of referencing it, great. I'm invested. I'll have it.
Yeah.
Same with Pinocchio, same with the Peter Pan movie. I'm just nervous about the tie-in movie. And if they hadn't announced it, I wouldn't have been. But the whole thing that I know that somehow they've got to bring all this together in a way that I'm going to have to digest logically. I'm going to be like,
The poster for the Poohniverse is amazing, where you've got Winnie the Pooh holding a flaming chainsaw, riding Bambi. Like that, as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's cool. Like, I'm going to end up watching all of them. I think you should all watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. It is a 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Ooh.
I had loads of fun with this.
Higher than mine. Wow, I'm impressed. You scored the first one higher than me as well, did you not?
I did, yeah. Like, this is almost taking, like, if there was 7 more of these, like there is Sharknadoes, I think this would be, I would quite easily swap this out for Sharknado.
No, you could don't say that.
Sharknado.
You know how much that franchise means a lot to us, man. To say that's insulting a little bit to my soul.
It does, but Sharknado 4 left a bitter taste in my mouth and yours, and they've got Sharknado 5 to repair it.
Yeah, which, hey, October's approaching. My birthday's soon. Sharknado 5, baby.
It's almost become like... do you know what? Should we spoke about doing a silly movie poll. What date is your birthday?
The 5th of October.
Okay. We're going to skip the poll, and whatever recording falls for that weekend, we are going to do Sharknado 5. We'll do a special birthday episode for Marc.
Yay! We always do special birthday episodes for me, and I've never done a special birthday episode for you. Did I do one this year? I did. I sent some nice messages this year.
Yeah, you done loads of nice.
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried this year.
You done good. Anyway,
I can't do that every year though. That was a lot of effort. I'm sorry, man.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I've had enough birthdays now that I don't need them celebrating.
Yeah, you have, to be fair.
A huge thank you to everyone who's listened. Make sure you go and check out Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Make sure you go and check out our website, yourunpodcast.com. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Reviews from the Crypt, at VHS from the Crypt for Marc, at You Run Podcast for me and the show. Make sure you do all those good things, and make sure you enter our competition and earn yourself some merchandise. You get 3 pieces of merchandise by leaving us a 5-star written review or a 5-star review on Spotify.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, mate. Just for those who are watching on YouTube, if you notice that I picked this beer up with my right hand, I then put it down with my left hand. Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you then. Continue.
But I'm an AI bot. I didn't lose where I was. So make sure you enter our competition. Make sure you leave us a 5-star written review on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, or a 5-star review on Spotify. Screenshot those and send them to us. If you've already done that, keep entering by leaving a comment on this video on Spotify. That's it for another week. We will be back next week, and we're not telling you what we do because we don't do that anymore, because we have no clue. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you all next time. See you later.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
You want to die tonight?
Turn into your show, where you talk over with a unique flow. Your voice is like jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. You run podcasts, horror movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too.